Alright guys, here we are again. It's Wednesday. Got a clipper. Came in real late this morning, like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock this morning. It's noon now. I've been out for 5 hours fighting traffic, trying to get stuff plowed. Finally got the commercial stuff done, so we're out plowing my driveways. Figured I'd bring you guys along for the ride. This is a nice one because they have a side entry garage, so I can push going in and kind of roll it off to the side so that I can scrape some of it. Looks pretty tracked down from the couple little snows we had before, but it's warm. It's like 31. It's certainly not real cold. This one, the plow markers are a little bit close to the edge of the driveway, but it's paved, which is nice. Really like these late morning snows, but I guess if that's all I have to complain about, life is pretty good. It just makes it so hard to deal with traffic and all that. When you put your plow markers right on top of the edge of your driveway, and you get a heavy snow, that heavy snow just rolls the driveway markers right over. I had a lot of people asking me in my videos how to charge for snow plowing, and you know, that's kind of one of those things that's sort of taboo. You know, what works for one guy doesn't always work for the next company. Looks like they got a little doggy fence over there that's all fallen down. I'm trying not to push any snow on it, but when it's wet like this, you can't drive over it first or you'll never scrape it up. And this stuff is wet. There's only about, a little over 3 inches, but and I normally don't plow driveways when it's just this little bit of snow, but if I can get them scraped down to pavement and get this wet snow off of them, it's all good, because if this gets packed down and then it warms up and we get a heavy snow, I can't push them. At least not well. That's pretty embarrassing if you get hung up in a little driveway. Ideal if they didn't have that fence there, but drag a little bit back here. I don't think I'm going to get much of it, but there's really no room to turn. Pull straight back from the garage. The driveway's not wide enough up here, or apron, whatever you want to call it. You got to do an Austin Powers turnaround in here. You know, 20/20 turn. Which is hard on a truck, of course, but what are you gonna do? I changed that front axle U-joints in this truck right after I got it, along with knuckle seals, axle dust seals, hub bearings, which I believe I've made video of pretty much all of that for you guys that have these trucks. It's not hard, it's just time consuming, and you got to have a few tools. U-joints aren't fun. U-joint press would be a nice little tool to have, but I've never had that luxury, and I don't have a shop press, so. There we go. That's as good as that one's going to get. It's pretty tracked up. And I always push off the aprons from all the snow that the snow plows leave. That's provided the road's already been plowed. Don't always get that luxury. Usually the roads are not in this good of shape. Had to work on the snowplow a little bit over the weekend. I've broken a corner off my cutting edge. I'm going to readjust you guys here too. The camera doesn't look like it's focusing real well with this white towel there propping it up. There, let's try that for a minute here. Turn my wipers off as to not anger the autofocus on the camera. Still don't like the way that is. That's a little better. Got a green microfiber towel up there. Give you a little bit better view. So just out getting that stuff done. Anyway, I was talking about fixing the plow cutting edge. At the Habitat for Humanity Restore, they got a pretty rough parking lot in the back, and in that bitter cold I broke a chunk off of the end of the cutting edge. Wasn't going very fast, but it caught it just right and snapped it. So never having really any success welding that type of steel before, AR steel, AR plate, abrasive resistant plate. The best I could figure was to use my AC stick welder, which I haven't used in probably 5 years, 10 years. I just don't have any use for it except for real heavy stuff. And I preheated the metal up pretty hot, not cherry red, but you know, so it wasn't cold. And V'd it out real good and clamped a straight edge on it, and went ahead and welded it, you know, tacked it in a couple spots and then welded it, and then as soon as I was done welding it, I put the heat back on it so it wouldn't crack, cleaned it up and got the slag out of it and did it again. I was going to videotape it, but I was exhausted when I was doing it. I just couldn't deal with the cutting edge being broken. And the poor thing's brand new. I think I bought it at the end of last year, so it's only got like 10 plows on it. So, being a V-Plow, you have to buy a full, 2 cutting edges, 1 for each side. And I bought an aftermarket one that's not molded, that doesn't have the snow catcher in the middle, so I still paid maybe 250 bucks for it, and the molded one is 500. So it wasn't really worth it for me to replace a brand new cutting edge. So I fixed that. I cleaned my wood stove pipe out. I burned some soft coal in it, which was a complete failure. Ended up setting up the stovepipe real bad, so no, you know, nothing ventured, nothing gained. So I did that. So the truck's in good shape for now. Nice to see fuel's down for diesel below $3. I was able to fill up my tank for less than a $100 bill, which is nice. It wasn't completely empty, but down to 1/8 of the tank, so probably put 30 some gallons in it. But anyway, I'll bring you guys back in a little bit. I'm not going to make you deal with me driving 30 minutes across town. We'll see you in a few. Alright, over at the house here, getting this one scraped off so my carpenter can do some work. Just finishing up. Figured I'd grab the tripod. It's going to shake, but not a whole hell of a lot I can do. Driveway's pretty narrow. It's barely a blade width wide. I think it's wider at the garage door and wider at the street, but it's skinny in the middle. It's definitely not an easy one to push. But you gotta drag it. And dragging wet snow ain't any fun. So yeah, we'll just keep on doing what we're doing here. I haven't been making any shop videos because I haven't really been at the shop. 20 minutes here, an hour there. Last shop video was kind of an update, but got the roof of that truck roughed in with body work. Working on the doors, I had to peel some lettering off one door, and the other one had a couple of pointers in it, and it was folded on the bottom corner. All that, so I got the body work started on those, and then I'm going to have to patch cab corners or rockers. It's kind of an all-in-one deal, and a little bit on the back of the cab. Hopefully I'll be able to work on that tomorrow or Friday and show you guys how I get into that. I wanted to get the rest of it done so I can pull the doors off of it. It's easier to work on them on the truck for the outsides, and then when I have to go to the door bottoms, I'll have them on stands. Make it a little bit easier. The tripod, that Gorilla one, I wrap it around my headrest on the passenger seat, and it really wants to fall backwards. For whatever reason, I can't keep it where I want it. Too damn cheap to spend the $100 on the nice suction mount one right now. Okay, now you're staring at the ceiling. I'll get you guys straightened out here in a second. Well, that just does not want to work, does it? I wonder if that will help. It might work. Let's try that for a minute. Really hate stopping in the middle of plowing something like that. With this wet snow, it'll stop the truck in its tracks. I'm not quite sure why she's not parking her vehicle in this turnaround, because if you park it down at the bottom, it'll be real hard to get out. I can only plow a path down to it. There's so much stuff down there, there's nowhere to back drag and horse around. Oh yeah, there's the stupid mode. Stupid neutral safety switch. I was waiting for a dry day so I could change it. That hasn't happened yet. You go to back up and it doesn't know what it's doing. So it'll hump and jump and everything else. And it only does it in reverse. And it only seems to do it when it's real wet out and there's slush up under the truck. Just did it that once. Got like landscape ties at the end of this. There it goes. Landscape ties at the end of this driveway. Trying to peel them all up. Right in the middle of that. Nothing I can do there. Yep. It's not doing it bad right now. That will get worse. Change it. There's another one I gotta wiggle and jiggle to. Change that stupid thing tomorrow, because that isn't going to get any better. Alright, well there's another one done for you guys. And we'll bring you back in a little bit here. Alright, here we go again. City's been plowing the snow out of that parking lot ahead of us and putting it on this lawn here, which is our lawn. It's my wife's building. We own it. I'm trying to kill my tree here in the corner because I got snow piled up all against it. So we'll just mound it up and shove this shit back to them. Unfortunate part about their parking lot there's nowhere else to push it unless they just make a mountain of it. It's on a hill. There's sidewalk all around it. I'm in four-wheel drive with a full skid of salt in the bed of my truck and I'm spinning my tires. That tells you how slick it is underneath this stuff. See, it just kind of stays wherever you shove it. It's starting to actually get too warm in the truck. Watched a video of snowplowing the other day. Somebody had a GoPro on a helmet mount, which is kind of cool. But when you're turning your head 1,000 times a minute to look out your mirrors and look out your back window and watch what you're doing, it gets you seasick. Snow won't really hurt that tree as long as they don't break the branches. Problem is it's full of salt, which isn't going to be good. Alright, this camera just doesn't want to cooperate, does it? Parking lot's on a little bit of a slope as well. It can be really tricky. I actually used to plow this before I had two pickups. I had my dump truck and this pickup, and the dump truck slid down this hill that I'm plowing across, plowing parallel to it, and I ended up going down over along the street and got parking blocks out there, and I got hung up on a parking block. And the snow wasn't super deep, but it was a snow like this where it was slippery. If you guys ever get a truck stuck, don't sit there spinning your tires and thinking that's going to get you unstuck. It usually doesn't when you're in that kind of situation. Put it in four-wheel drive, low range, and because of the way it amplifies the torque, if you just creep forward and creep back and creep forward and creep back, eventually you'll get enough smashed down area to where you can actually get some momentum and get it moving. I had my dump truck stuck in a customer's driveway. It had rained a bunch. Wow, was that slippery? It had rained a bunch, and septic. Sorry, that's loud. The septic system is only about 15 feet from the driveway, and the water had waterlogged it, and the driveway got soaked, and it just turned into mush in the middle of winter. And I buried a dump truck with two of the tires right on the edge of the driveway, and I was able to walk it out in low range. Just sometimes it makes a difference. So before you go calling your buddy to come pull you out with a jerk strap or a chain, give it a try. It's 21 years of doing this for me, and that's something I'm glad I knew, because a lot of times you're out by yourself or somebody's so far away that it'll be an hour before they can get to you to pull you out. I don't have so much work that I have 2 or 3 trucks in the same job. Most of them are too small for that. So it works. Most people, when they get stuck, their first instinct is to spin the tires and clean the tracks out. But when it's icy like this, what happens is you end up making ice with the packed snow. You just heat it up with the tires. So if you just go real slow, it works. And high range sometimes isn't enough, because you really got to give it gas to get it moving. So whether it's diesel or gas engine, I don't know that it really matters. I've done it both ways. And I think we're going to plow the Habitat store late tonight, even though they're not open until Saturday and it's Wednesday. I'm not dealing with what I went through last weekend. They called me and were concerned about it being icy, and it was, I don't know, maybe 20 degrees out. Well, school buses turn around in their parking lot, and the mailman parks there, and there's a house that has a rental unit in it, and they park cars there, so people are driving there using it for turnaround constantly. So I just packed it all down, couldn't scrape it, and I salted the hell out of it. But at 20 degrees, I mean, it takes all day to melt that, unless you turn it into a salt parking lot. Believe it or not, this parking lot, and first of all, it's concrete. It's 6-inch concrete. And it was poured in 1963, maybe? Take a wild guess at it. I think it was 63. And we've only replaced one section of it. I mean, this concrete's older than I am. And the only reason we replaced it is because the whole slab sunk. There's a water problem somewhere along the line under this parking lot. There we go. Yep, time to change that neutral safety switch. That thing is being a pain in the ass. So if your truck's doing that, I'm sure you guys can tell. You'll see the overdrive off light flashing. Just change that switch out. It will fix you right up. We allow a couple people to park cars here, because this house, and you'll see it in a second here, come into view, that white house, that driveway goes down a steep hill and the parking's behind it. And I don't know if the landlord pays to plow that or not, evidently not, and there's not much parking there. So those people can't even get out of that driveway. So we allow them to park here, but the problem is they start getting picky and they want a clean spot, so they'll park somewhere else in the parking lot until they screw up my program here. Which kind of pisses me off because we let them park here, but what are you gonna do? You gotta be careful when it's slippery like this. You're working next to cars, especially in a place like this on a hill. A truck will dog walk sideways on you and you'll smack right into one or get so close to it you won't be able to, nice old truck with a plow on it going down the road and the plow smacking the snow piles on the side. This one done. This will be it for this morning or afternoon. I really can't believe I used to plow this with my dump truck, because you can tell what kind of hill we're on here, how you're looking at the sky. And I actually used to plow with no weight in the bed of it either. I used to plow a condo complex with my dump truck when I could only afford one pickup. I wasn't one of those guys that somebody gave him a bunch of money and went out and outfitted himself with all his equipment. I started from a couple pieces of equipment and one truck and one snowplow to 3 trucks, 3 snowplows, 4 zero-turns, 2 walk-behinds, and a whole mess of other shit. And as much as I would have liked to have somebody hand me a wad of money to start my business 20 years ago, I'm glad it went the way it went. Because you appreciate your stuff a hell of a lot more and you take care of it a hell of a lot better. Even though I'm like a maintenance Nazi anyway, even before I had anything. You guys have seen me do body work. You know I like things the way I like them. Chunk of sidewalk at the edge of this that goes to the door. You gotta raise a plow up over it. There's like no place to push snow. elementary school across the street here, and the city will every once in a while get on us about not clearing the sidewalk. But the shitty part is the snowplows throw all the snow on the sidewalk because it's so close to the street, and we don't have anywhere to put snow in our own parking lot. So it's quite interesting. There's no way to do it because it's so wet and heavy. Alright fellas and gals, that's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed my shaky, crooked video. Have a good one.